The marketing season is on, and the good news is that government has already funded the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, who are responsible for ensuring that the country is food secure. And so if you are a farmer out there, you will do well to listen to this interview because, I mean, when you distribute your produce to the Food Reserve Agency, you get your money almost instantly at any satellite depot. I'm Jacqueline Tembo, and I'm going to be talking to Mr. John Chipandwe, who is the Public Relations Coordinator from the Food Reserve Agency. Mr. Chipandwe, welcome to the interview.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
All right, so in a nutshell, just tell us about the Food Reserve Agency.
Okay, so the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, as it is commonly known, is a strategic government institution that is created by an Act of Parliament, which is the Food Reserve Act, Chapter 225 of the laws of Zambia. So in summary, the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, is mandated to carry out three core functions. The first one being the management of national strategic food reserves. And then secondly, we are also mandated to provide market access to small-scale farmers countrywide. And then thirdly, we are also mandated to manage public agricultural storage facilities, and that is countrywide as well. So whatever crops we buy each marketing season, we store them in the public agricultural storage facilities. Yeah.
Okay, and coming to this marketing season, what is so special about it? I know I may have, tried to explain that funds are already available, yes. But then you tell the story better.
Okay, so during this year's marketing season, the agency is actually buying, firstly, white maize, and then we are also buying paddy rice, as well as soya beans. So these are the designated agricultural commodities that the agency is buying this year.
In what quantities are you buying?
Okay, so for maize, we are buying 1 million metric tons, as was directed by the president. I'm sure you are aware.
Yes.
And then for soybeans, we are targeting to buy a total of 3,000 metric tons. And for paddy rice, our target is 1,000 metric tons. Then when it comes to the pricing, for maize, the agency is buying a 50 kilogram bag of maize at 110 kwacha. And then soybeans, we are buying a 50 kilogram bag at 150 kwacha. And then for paddy rice, we are buying 70 kwacha for a 40 kilogram bag. Yeah, so far, Jacqueline, I think I should mention that the marketing season is actually progressing very well.
Okay.
We are receiving very good feedback from the farmers. They are delivering their products to our satellite depots that are scattered in all the provinces of Zambia. The agency has also increased the number of satellite depots countrywide. Last year, you might be aware that our total number of satellite depots was 600. But this year, due to the directive that came from the president, we have opened a total of 1,200 satellite depots countrywide. So in addition to that, the number of staff also that have been employed has gone up. We managed to recruit a total of 4,800 people to man our satellite depots countrywide. So the aim is for us to manage to meet the targets for all the crops.
You know, when it comes to our staple food, people
Yes.
want to hear, are we secure?
Correct. We are very secure. We are very secure. If you look back at 2019, Jacqueline, I think you will remember that the rainfall pattern was not fairly distributed in all the provinces. In other areas, we had droughts. In other areas, we had floods. But the agency stepped in, and we were able to cushion the impacts of that natural occurrence. Yeah, last year, the agency did manage to report that we have so far dispersed a total of 210 million, over 210 million kwacha to farmers that supplied their crops to FRA. And in terms of bags, we are at over 2 million bags of maize that we have bought so far. Yeah, and then in terms of metric tons as well, we are already above 100,000 metric tons. So we are very hopeful that after 3 months, we will hit the 1 million metric tons target. As you might be aware, we've only been on the ground buying the crops for 3 weeks. We're already above 100,000 metric tons. So come August, we will record higher sales compared to what we did in the initial 3 weeks period, mainly because the month of August is a busy period. Most farmers are done with preparing their crops. They have harvested, they've cleaned their crops, and they are ready to deliver to any FRA depot. So sales are going to increase drastically during the month of August and the other months that are coming.
But then let's talk a bit about COVID-19 in as far as the marketing season is concerned.
Yes.
You know, some farmers have complained that business is not so good. So there's this the issue of briefcase buyers also on the market. So why should farmers rush to FRA and sell their maize to you?
Farmers should rush to FRA depots because one, there's ready market for them there. They go there, they know that once they deliver their crops, there's demand for that by the agency, and then the cash is available. So there will be no need for them to wait for days before their crops could be sold to FRA. They deliver their crops on a specific day. FRA will be able to receive the crops, weigh them, do all the other processes and procedures, and then guide on where they should go for their payments. So we buy, of course, at 110, and then we sell later on at a very subsidized price. Yeah.
Okay. Now, finally, your last words as we end the interview to the people watching us.
Okay, so I think our word of gratitude goes to the farmers that have already delivered their crops to FRA and they've all been paid. We say thank you to them, and then we also wish to appeal to other farmers that haven't yet done so to quickly clean their crops and deliver to the nearest depot, and they will get their pays immediately. And in addition to that, I think we also wish to urge our farmers to bring the crops to their harvest to FRA, because these are the crops, these are the grains that we issue out to, for example, millers. When the price of milling meal goes up, it is always the Food Reserve Agency that intervenes in that situation. It distributes, it releases subsidized maize to millers, and then they're able to provide cheaper milling meal to the local market. Then in addition to that, I think we also play a critical role when it comes to various government programs that are aimed at helping people during periods of drought as well as floods. You might know that we are actually responsible for giving out maize to DMMU, which is distributed during floods. Then we also go a step further by providing grains to the Ministry of Agriculture under the school feeding program.
All right.
So we do help these key institutions in meeting their targets as well. So farmers are actually encouraged to supply to FRA because we carry out a wider mandate to various government programs.
All right. Thank you so much. And there you have it. The crop marketing season is on up to the end of October. And already we have heard that the Food Reserve Agency has already been funded. So it is to your benefit as a farmer out there to supply FRA with that white maize. Is it soya beans that you have, or the paddy rice price that they are looking for at competitive prices, and you get your money almost instantly at any satellite depot that you distribute your products to. Thank you so much for watching, and all the best.